Hello, warriors. Welcome to the You Movement. I am B, and today is a special day for me. And I wanted to share it with you because you've been there through the dark with me, and now I would like to celebrate some of the light. Hopefully, we'll see how the day goes. I think it's going to be light. I want to talk a little bit about reclaiming your power and stepping back into the person that you once were at your core. Some of the characteristics of who I once was have been stolen from me along this thing called human life. And at my core, I am a fun person. At my core, I am adventurous. At my core, I love to travel and have experiences and be around people. Those things are fundamentally inside my heart. Earlier versions of me traveled the world. I've lived in foreign countries. I lived in Tokyo, Japan for a year teaching English. I lived in Ireland for 10 years raising my son. And I've lived in many, many towns around Ontario in Canada, and I adore travel. I absolutely adore travel and I adore experiences. But the problem is, many of us have had what I consider to be an initiation, a soul level initiation, which is to escape from one of the dark triads: narcissist, psychopath, sociopath, Machiavellian sorts, or medically known as fucking assholes. And the problem with this initiation is it alters you in very painful and dramatic ways. So my background is I lost all that side of myself. Well, more to the point, I didn't lose it. I'm going to rephrase that. It was stolen from me, because when you get involved with these types of individuals, they chip away at the core of who you are and try to destroy you. And so, despite my once ability to travel alone, and like I went off on adventures by myself. I didn't need somebody. I took my son when he was 4 on a trip to Portugal by myself. Like, that's who I was, and that was stolen from me because in the cycle that is abuse, domestic abuse, you get just worn down and your own brain chemistry gets completely and utterly hijacked. I get very irritated when people say, "Why don't you just leave?" You can't just leave one of these types of situations. That's near impossible. So it is, because they're so incredibly talented at manipulating the situation and further using all these tools and techniques to keep you trapped. You're in prison. It is a type of prison that you're in. I tried to leave, and I'm a pretty strong woman, so I tried to leave at least 10 times. 10 times I would have asked for separation. 10 times I would have said, we need to go to counseling. This isn't working. And, I want this to be over. And the problem is, anytime I did ask for it to be over, he just wouldn't leave. He just wouldn't let it be over. And so I mistook that as perseverance. Oh, look, he's still willing to put time and energy into this. So should I. I didn't see it for what it was because I had the rose-colored glasses on. And anytime we went to counseling, up would come the Mr. Charming, and he would charm the counselor, and I would come off looking like the bad guy because I was demanding things like respect, honesty, and loyalty. And it was kind of, and I'd be like, what is happening? Why is this like this? It's crazy. And then with all the love bombing, future faking, oh, I'm so sorry. I've dropped the ball. I want to make this right. I'm trying as hard as I can. Oh, poor Mr. Vulnerable Narcissist. Your empathy gets all used against you and twisted into knots. And you're like, okay, we'll try again. We'll try again. Put so much time, energy, and effort into this. I'm going to just keep trying, because they flip-flop between this nice, charming person and this illusion of somebody they are and the reality of what they are. So it was like living with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And that process damages you. It damages your brain chemistry because all the chaos that you're constantly experiencing is like cortisol, cortisol, cortisol pumping and flooding through your system, forcing your nervous system to be into fight or flight. And then when you burn out or you get sick, like I did, they step in and are the hero, right, of the story. Oh, your anxiety's bad tonight. I'll take care of you. I'll help you. I'll drive you to your acupuncture appointment. I'm gonna be your hero now. And all of a sudden, they're giving you everything you want. So you're getting hit then with like dopamine and oxytocin, and so your brain has been chemically altered. And with your brain being chemically altered, your body becomes altered because it's constantly going between fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight, and then burnout, and then fight or flight, fight or flight, flight, burnout. So it really is like being on heroin, like an addiction that you just can't stop because you're on this cycle, this roller coaster that just, it never ends. And it took me, this awakening process. It took me this twin flame journey. It took me years to finally escape, to finally get free. 2019, I had my wake up call and I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of this relationship. How am I going to do that? I don't know. And so I set off on like healing my body because my body had been exposed to this toxic patterning for 15 solid years, and I'd put on over 100 pounds, and I had developed diabetes, sleep apnea, brain fog, memory loss, inflammation in the body, fibromyalgia pains. Like, I mean, it was ridiculous. And that's all because my internal brain chemistry was like all over the place. And I was further making the situation worse because I went to the medical world and I'm like, help me, help me. And medical world said, you're depressed. I got anxiety. Here, take these pharmaceuticals and I'm going to numb you out so that you can tolerate more abuse. And you go to the psychiatrists and the psychologists and the marriage counselors, and they're like not seeing the dynamic that's at play. And so they just then further pathologize you as the problem. And I've lost so much. I've lost so much because of this fucker. I lost my health. I lost my own capacity to like think for myself for a period of time. I lost control over my own brain chemistry, and I was able to escape. So there is no just leave one of these kinds of relationships. There is eventually get to a point where you know that you have to become a warrior and escape. Okay, escaping and leaving are not the same thing. Leaving implies you pack a bag and you leave. Escaping implies you need to be strategic, you need to be stealth, you need to be strong, you need to be healthy, you need to be cognizant, you need to have all kinds of things working for you. And so it took me an extended period of time to get from where I was in 2019 to asking for a divorce in 2021, and he still wouldn't leave. I want a divorce. It was very clear what I said, and his response was something along the lines of, well, I'm glad you said it because if you didn't say it, I was going to say it. But I'm not going anywhere because I can't afford to leave. So I'm going to just stay here in the man cave that is the master bedroom and not go anywhere. Because that had been his ploy that had worked so many times before, is eventually she's just going to wear down and forgive me and we're going to call it marriage again. And that's how he managed to like keep it going for so many years, for 15 years, is he just never would leave. Normal human beings, when you ask to break up, they go away, they leave you alone. That's how normal human beings function. But these fuckers, they just won't leave. They won't leave you alone. And then once you try to make a break, they come back in with future faking, love bombing, and all of a sudden they're on the best behavior, treating you better than you ever could possibly imagine. So from 2021, it took another more than half a year before I got him out of my house. I was like, get the fuck out of my house. Now, for me to be able to speak like that took divine intervention and took a lot of healing work to be able to start standing in my power and start saying no, like in a really loud and very purposeful voice. And then even from then, he came back for all of 2023, and the love bombing was insane. All of a sudden, opening car doors for me and taking me out for lunch and driving me to my medical appointments and this, that, because I was a mess. He had me exactly where he wanted me, as a total, utter mess. And so he could fly in and be the superhero in the story. And then finally, when I caught him in another lie, I managed to go no contact. And going no contact was like going cold turkey off of heroin. I started having severe panic attacks. I was going through withdrawal. I was detoxing a toxic relationship. And it was absolutely brutal. I spent most of that next year on the ground. And I spent literally on the ground trying to regulate my nervous system that had been completely hijacked with these cycles, as well as the fact is I had had a kundalini. And so I was like going through extreme changes. So that's another year. Then I finally managed to obtain my divorce in 2024. Thank God for that. So from 2019 to 24, that's how long it took me to escape, right? That's not overnight movements. So there is no just escape abusive relationships. And there is no just recover, just get over it, abusive relationships either. Somebody who's experienced psychological damage, it is like a brain injury. There is actually, for those that don't believe me, go and do some research, because the size of your amygdala begins to swell and grow when you're constantly being kept in a state of fight or flight. And so there is actual visual imaging that can be done on your brain that shows what's really going on. What is complex post-traumatic stress disorder? And so I have been in recovery of this for now 2.5 years. It hasn't been until I got here with this amazing, serene, peaceful, isolated, safe. I'm on a compound. There's an ex-police officer right over there that owns weaponry. I'm like, I feel safe here. So my nervous system has slowly begun to downregulate and get out of the warrior I need to escape and get back into health and wellness in my body. The recovery process, to take 2.5 years to get over something, is longer than most people probably could fathom or imagine. But I am determined, you may have noticed, I'm a very determined person, that I am going to get my life back. Those aspects of myself that was stolen, my sense of adventure, my sense of travel, desire to travel, my ability to fly by the seat of my pants, crack a joke, have fun, feel safe in the world again. So today I am going to the Boomy Festival, and I'm very excited about it because I haven't been in a festival setting since 2018. The last time I went to Montebello Rock Fest, which is a big, huge punk rock festival that I absolutely adored. And this will be the first time I have been around this many people since then. And I'm scared out of my mind. The week leading up to this has been a lot of fear, a lot of panic. It's a good thing that my plumbing situation is still not fixed. 1 month, still no hot water, because my nervous system has actually really appreciated the cold showers because they're very helpful to regulate a nervous system. So I've been purging and processing fear like there's no tomorrow in the last month, psychologically preparing myself to go out on this adventure. And funny story, I had an extra ticket because I tried to manifest in my man of my dreams. Didn't work because there is no such thing as manifestation on this awakening path, that you will quickly realize it's God's will, not your will. And God, I guess, is saying to me, you're still not ready yet. And I'm like, okay, got it. No problem. So instead, I put out on Facebook a post saying, yo, I have an extra ticket. Who would like to come with me And I was delighted to hear from a friend that I have not seen in 27 years. And she said, I want to come with you. And so she's already on the road because she lives at a further distance than I am. And I'm very excited to see her. Maybe it will bring back a little bit of my old 27-year-old self. That's how old I was when I last saw her. It's going to be a day. It's going to be a day because I refuse to have any more stolen from me. I had my health stolen from me. I had money. It was a shit show. When when it comes to money, the amount I've spent on therapy is insane. It's ridiculous. In Canada, they do have a new law that you can actually sue them for that, but there's no point. He doesn't have any money. So there would be no point in that, and it would just be another stressful event. So I'm just letting God handle that. But the point being is a lot has been stolen from me, and time, the amount of time. So 15 years in this toxic bullshit, and then all these years since to try to escape. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm pushing through the fear. I'm feeling the fear, and I'm doing it anyways because I plan on living a full life. Despite the damage that he did to me, I will recover. I may not be fully recovered right now, but I am way better than I was 2 years ago, and each year will add better. Each year is going to get better. Every day is going to get better. And even if I slide back down into the fear, the panic, the paranoia, it is transitory. It too shall pass, and I will push myself to the next venture. Today is monumentous for me to free myself and reclaim some of my soul self back. I'm going to bring you along for the ride. I'll do some clips and show you what the Boomy Festival is all about. And maybe next year you want to join me too. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, we are here. Oh my good golly. And I have already seen some mighty fine beards. So the eye candy is going to be sweet today. Ah, just waiting on my friend to arrive. I've managed to find myself parked in a field and party on.